Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karthik and I am from team JITHack 2021. Um, we definitely hope you guys had a lot of fun. And I really believe you built something great in the 24 hours given to you. So right now we've boiled down to 6 teams, and this is the final judging that will happen with the judges. So before we start off with the actual judging, I would take a moment to appreciate both our judges, Mr. Vijay Kulkarni and Mr. Shashank Bangalore Lakshman, for having dedicated their complete weekend to us, and especially given the fact that they live in different time zones. So we definitely respect this and totally appreciate this fact, sir. Thank you, both of you. So on this note, we shall start off with team just in time. Team just in time, are you here?
Yeah, yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, yes. Please start sharing your screen.
Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys are able to see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So we're the team just in time. We created an app called Note It Up. Note It Up is an AI notes taker, basically. What it does is it takes in notes for you, it summarizes them, and creates TLDRs for the students. So whenever a general problem that me and my colleagues face is whenever we want to go to a lecture, we just don't know what was taught in the last lecture off the mind. So you can just open this app and you can see what are the TLDRs or flashcards generated from the previous lectures. So it'll remind you, give you a gist of these lectures and all. Also, generally after the conclusion of lecture, it is good because let's say a lecture gets concluded, immediately after that, the lecturer or the faculty can send out emails with these summaries to the students, so they can just revise it up at the end of the day, and which will help better in knowledge retention and make learning much more involving. So basically, it's a learning aid for both faculties as well as the students. Faculties can use it as an aid to let's say if I'm a faculty and I want to just focus on my lecture, and later on I just want to give summarize these things notes to my students. So I can do that. Also on the student part, they don't have to hustle around to jot down the notes in real time. They can just get these summaries later on. Uh, so yeah, this is like what we're making aware, and how we do it is we take in like any lecture that can be recorded. Basically, it can be an offline lecture or an online lecture. We record it, we transcribe it, and we pass it through a grammatical correction parser, which cleans out these sentences, and then we put it to an API, GPT-3. It's an OpenAI API. It's quite powerful because it can basically recognize these patterns in with a very few data. So we thought to use it because it was the best tool for this hackathon. So we send it to that, and it generates these TLDRs and tags for us. Now, once we get these tags, students can go in and go to a portal wherein you're shown the subjects and all these short flashcards that have been generated for that particular subject. So yeah, this is the whole idea.
Are we now going to ask able to ask questions now? I guess to the team. I guess.
Yeah, if you want, I can do we have to give demo in this one?
Yeah, I would love to see a demo. That was
Oh,
my
sure.
first question. So if you have
Sure,
a
sure, sure,
quick
sure.
demo that you
Yeah,
can walk through.
yeah. Sure. Yeah. Just a second, I'll share my screen. Muting. Yeah, you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead. Yeah.
I have to So a little inconvenience would be there because I have to shout into my laptop's microphone because I'm using a Bluetooth microphone right now, so it won't take it. So I'm really sorry for that. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll try to mimic a chemistry lecture, uh, showcasing chemical bonds and all, and then we'll try to see.
Can we do a different example than what you're?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can tell me any article or any subject or any
Okay.
What
Can you
was
take
your
up a
favorite?
bank? Can you talk about a bank?
bank.
Yeah.
Okay, like anything specific with banking, like what are fixed
Nothing.
deposits, maybe?
Anything.
No, what is a bank? If you were to
What is
explain
a
it to a
bank?
kid. Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
a
I
bank?
think
Okay.
yeah,
So what I'll do is
that's
I'll just
amazing,
uh,
Shashank.
yeah, just a second. Yeah. So I'll go on Google. I'll search what is a banking definition, and I'll read it out
Sure.
to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll start. A bank is a financial institution licensed to receive deposits and make loans. Bank may also provide financial services such as wealth management, currency exchange, and safe deposit boxes. There are several different kinds of banks, including retail banks and commercial banks. Just stop
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now this is basic speech to text. Now it will transcribe when we get this TLDR. We've created a students panel. Oh, sorry. So yeah, by default, all subjects are currently getting tagged with chemistry. Because I didn't tag it specifically. Here you can see this is a first example. This is banking. Banks are financial institutions that hold your money and provide financial services. So what I read out was a bank is a financial institution licensed to receive deposits and make loans. Bank may also provide financial services such as wealth management, currency exchange, and safe deposit boxes. There are several types of banks: commercial banks and corporate banks. What it did was it narrows it down to a single or two sentences, so that it's easier for you to recall. Okay, what I read last time, we read about banks are financial institutions, and they
Okay.
hold our money and provide financial services.
Yeah. So now I want you to add a sentence that clearly makes no sense and then state banks are financial institutions that hold your money, right? Like we really want to
Okay.
understand how this apps work.
Okay.
If it is
Anything
really capable
specific?
of doing that. Talk about bank, but say something that is not really important as that is not the concept of that paragraph, right? You can say,
Okay.
how do people store money, right? Wow, they need security.
Yeah.
They cannot
Do one
always.
thing.
Yeah.
We can just talk
Yeah.
about Cristiano Ronaldo and then talk about a bank.
Yeah, that is
Okay,
also
okay.
great. Yeah.
All right, so I'll try to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'll try to put in this bank provide financial services in middle. Okay.
Yeah.
1 second. Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo is a professional footballer who plays as a forward for Series A club Juventus and captains the Portugal national team. Banks are the financial institutions that provide financial services such as fixed deposits, lockers, and bonds. Okay, just a second. Okay, so yeah, it mixed up. Okay, we'll see. So slash. Yeah, if a software engineer who likes to write about the software engineering, I'm a big fan of command line and I'm a big fan of the Unix philosophy.
Yeah. So I think the fundamentally what we wanted to point out is not that the concept or the idea is wrong. What you have makes sense. It could have a potential market, but what I see is unless you really understand what the technology is doing, right? I believe in this case you're using GPT-3 or GPT-2.
Yes.
But what you need to understand is there is a certain degree of caution that we need to exercise in what is known as large language models, right?
Yes.
GPT-2 contains billions of lines of text which are just fed into a computer with no specific instruction, and it has the ability to basically understand what the relationships are, and basically it is trying to mimic the probabilistic nature of how word frequencies occur in a very large body of text.
Right.
So yeah.
Sorry, continue, Shashank.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, right? Like when we are looking at the hackathon, right? One of the criteria, a couple of criterions that I wanted to ask you about specifically now is why do you think this is novel, right? Like you are suggesting a use case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is a novel case, and why do you think those products have not been built, right, in with the same idea that you generated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second question is, what is the market opportunity, right? Obviously, if I don't attend a lecture, let's say I used to study, I've been through three different universities, right? I'm now in my third stint at going for a PhD. What I realize is if I skip a class, for me, it is far more beneficial to review the video recording of the lecture, or I go totally to a very different source, YouTube or some other university website where they have a recording for the
Mm-hmm.
same topic. And I hardly go to a text summarizer because, again, the large language models are can work great for small sentences, but then when you look at this confusing thing, your professor might be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo to
Yeah.
showcase that he's a footballer, but the lecture might be on leadership, that footballers need to show, or how executives can learn from Cristiano Ronaldo how to show leadership, right? So these
Yeah.
large language models at this point of time fail to understand how to distinguish what the real context is, right? So then that is
Yes.
why I'm asking you, when you go build a product, or where you go build something like this, the outcomes can directly affect the customer. So I want you to walk us through what your thought process is when you think of the novelty of the idea, and why, like, in addressing why you think so no one has approached this with the same exact perspective. And the second aspect is, what is the real market opportunity? How are you going to
Sure.
make money?
Sure. Like in terms of technology, I wouldn't say we're novel. We're not the first one who are doing the text summarization. It's been going on for like decades, I guess. What we are trying to focus is on the edtech market. So, and also we're not showing this as a replacement to the video lectures. Let's say you miss a lecture, you will watch a whole video lecture. What we're like making this thing is at comparable to current social media, what do you say, designs. Like, let's say you had a lecture on a particular physics, rectilinear motion. Now, you don't want, whenever you're revising it up, you don't want to get into the whole lecture because you don't have time. Let's say I'm hopping on a train, I'm leaving in a bus, I'm traveling. I just want to see what was taught today, or just get a good gist or revise of that thing. So I just see these flashcards. Okay, these can be also like my mind maps. So before an exam, let's say I have a very big exam, this can really work well with the general knowledge exams that are very specific with the facts and all. Now I'm not saying this particular algorithm because this is a general purpose AI, so it is not catered or refined like that. What I'm saying is, let's say you're preparing for a UPSC exam, and you just fetch in these trends and whatever, like your professor has told you about, and then at the in the last week you're just going through your notes, and these are your notes. So you go to this TLDRs, and you can see, okay, this thing was made during this thing, this was the revolution, this thing happened at this time. This can also be done with various concepts in physics. Let's say you do want to, let's say in biology, you want to memorize, okay, what are the types of vaccines that are given at the early stage, BCG, DPT, that you want to just, directly see. So that it triggers your mind as in, okay. In my mind, I can have, okay, on biology, the initial vaccines given to an infant are BCG, DPT, and all these things. Maybe their full forms also are given out there. So it is a tooling, it's an aid, learning aid, which can help you, create these mind maps for you. We do plan to uh, purify it more so that it is able to do it specifically for, like I said, fact-based exams, general knowledge-based exams, or summarization like separately. So in that case, it can help you a lot. You can just see these cards and get a a good idea about the last lecture, or even while revising for exam. Secondly, what more we can do over here is, a, a, a lecture is usually generalized. So let's say when I go to a class and I speak about, let's say, programming. Now, it can be so majority of that, of the students don't know the basics of programming over there, or their basics are actually not clear there. So it, like, when the lecture is halfway done, the faculty realizes, okay, this is not working. I should, go back to this thing. What we can do over here is we can create these summarizations based on your levels, and that can be given to the students. Let's say if you are really good at it, so and you want the whole summarization, like very least what is it rectification of things, so you can directly get the pure theory. Then if you are like, no, I'm just in a hurry, I just need the top words, there's the keywords, give me the keywords, so you can summarize it that way. So in that way, we see this as a learning aid. It can help there to students as well as to the faculty. Be
Okay.
it, drawing notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think two things before I guess allow Vijay to ask if he has any other question. One is I really appreciate the effort, but I think what I think you should definitely focus is when you go for a demo, right, or a pitch, you should really have a very well thought process, right? I think the whole idea of elevator pitch is the elevator is not going to wait for 5 minutes for a long explanation. So it has to be really be very, very well thought. The problem has to be really well understood. So I hope this is a feedback for you to go take in as you build startups or interview or attend interviews or go do more wonderful things, right, with technology. And the other aspect is with regard to I want you to think in this direction, which is you're trying to break down something which is multimodal sensory input, right? Which is the reason I call it multimodal is typically lectures are not just a repetition of some order of words, right? It has a very visual significance because your teacher could be teaching a very visual concept and they would be referring to concepts by very generic terms. They can say, take this value and multiply with this value. They are actually pointing you to different aspects of a board or a presentation at that point of time, right? So then when you think of a product like this, right, you say you are in a tech sector, I want you to think, go beyond this simple GPT-3 that is already trained by someone else. You just call API, right? But I want you to really think, if you want to really build this model, how are you going to address those challenges where you're taking multimodal but you're only giving them a text output, right? You don't have any other visual output. So you don't have to answer this question. This is not a question, but I want you to think in this dimension, right? I want you to really think, will anyone buy a product which is taking multimodal sensory inputs and converting it to unimodal sensory output? And will that be able to capture the essence of the lecture or whatever it is, right? So I want you to think in that.
Sure.
Vijay,
Vijay,
do you have any other?
Yeah. I just have to add just one point. So I went on to explain it in a little lengthy way. If I have to give it to you like in a one-liner, have you seen the app InShorts?
No. Honestly, no. Yeah.
It's a new summarization app and it's really beautiful. Like if you go and
it's an app to read news in like within 5 minutes. But that you don't have to like read the whole big article about something that happened like in the news.
Right. I really appreciate the effort, but I just want to once again, let us wrap this up in the interest of time. What I wanted to point you is your hypothesis or your problem statement should stand independent of any product that is on the market, right? When I am an investor, if you go tell me, do you know InShorts? Even if I know it, I will say no. Because I don't.
No, actually, I was completing. Right? I was pointing out something else. So, InShorts does it for the news. We want to do that for the lectures and the notes prepared by the teachers. Yeah, that's
okay. I think Vijay, you can take over, I guess.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys. I think to start with, this is a wonderful effort. And now I will probably I wanted to start from somewhere else, but now that you have compared. InShorts, I think this is something that I would really want to bring in. I think the premise of the comparison doesn't hold good in my opinion. I might be wrong, but look at it. I forgot your name. Sorry.
Utkarsh.
So look at it, Utkarsh. When you are doing a news aggregation, right, or news condensation, what happens is, and then when you're trying to summarize a lecture,
Yeah.
The semantics is something that is a key player. If you get your semantics wrong, the entire effort is useless. I'm being very brutal, right? Syntactically, a news might differ, but semantically, if your semantics are wrong, then the entire algorithm can go for a toss. And very unfortunately, right, GPT-3 lacks semantic understanding.
Yes,
Now, for example, what I mean by that, Vijay is talking to Utkarsh. Now, this is a fact. If I ask you to put it in a relational model, you might say speaker, listener, anything. But at any point of time, you might be answering my question, and then the state changes. So I don't know who is the judge, who is the participant, right? And I lose the entire context. Speaker could be somebody who is speaking, right? So we don't know. We lost the context here, right? So when you try to retrieve the data, at that point of time, you could have been the speaker answering my last question, and I could have been listening. But for somebody who tries to know, there's a lot of background noise. Can please everybody go on mute? There's a lot of background noise. Can please everybody go on mute? Yeah, this is better. Awesome. So you could be the last speaker, and then when somebody is looking at the database, he might think that Utkarsh is judge and Vijay could be the participant. So when you try to extract the information, it could be syntactically correct but semantically wrong. So one of the greatest disadvantages of having a GPT is lack of semantic understanding, right? And there's a lot of bias in the generated text that it has, right? So this is something that we really need to think about when we generally try to use any such models, pre-trained models. Now, another point that I would want to, I still hear a lot of background noise. I'll give you time to talk, so please bear with me. So another problem with this is, when you cannot just be saying, I just use GPT-3, right? There has to be, look, if I am talking from an investor's perspective, right, I don't really care if you use GPT-3 or something of your own, which is patented, but I don't really care, right? What matters me is how am I going to make money out of it, right? So what is the revenue generation model? Are students ready to pay for such a service, right? Or our college is going to give it for free for the students, and then college will pay for me, right? Pay for the service. How's it, right? So you really need to think from all the angles, right? So why are you using this model? You need to substantiate what is the accuracy of this model, what is the precision, what is the recall. There are so many other parameters which I would really love to see as a technologist. But if I look at it from a business perspective, right, what is going to be your revenue model? Is it going to be a recurring revenue, or is it going to be a one-time investment, right? So these are some of the things that I would be concerned about. And second thing is, what about the privacy, right? So as a faculty, I probably would not like my lectures to be accessible by everyone. I mean, let's not get into the philosophical aspect of it, but I might not want my lectures to be on YouTube or SoundCloud or anywhere else, right? So my question is, how would this respect the faculty's privacy, right? So that is another segment. And third point which I wanted to bring about is about the multi-model approach, which Shashank rightly pointed out. I think we've already discussed about it. These are not questions that I want you to answer now, but these are some things which we should always keep in mind because this has a potential to become a product. And when you want to productize this, you need to know 360 degree of the problem and then think about the solution, right? And this is something which is very, very important if you want to take up the entrepreneurial path. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. So definitely. So what we're trying to do over here is a POC. We get it. The tech is not ready, like nowhere near to where it should be. What we're trying to do is a POC over here. So I'll try to answer your questions.
Correct. So no, it's not about POC or MVP, right? My point is you need to have a 360-degree understanding of the problem.
Yes, yes.
How effective is a solution is a later part. That's a different ball game, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is to have a 360-degree understanding of the problem itself, right? So the problem is not so when I talk about problem, when I say problem, it need not be mistaken to a technical problem. No, the problem for which technology provides a solution. Now that is a different thing. So the problem is not converting sound to text or speech to text. The problem is, do you have a solution for a missed lecture? Now that's a problem. Do you have solution for for condensing a lecture? Do you have solution for highlighting those parts of lecture which makes more sense, which are more important, right? So these are some of the things that are the problems which you will be solving by using technology. Now, speech to text is not your problem. Disadvantages of GPT is not your problem, right? Hosting it on cloud is not your problem, right? These are the technological challenges, right? When I say problem, what is the gain for the customer, for the end user? That is something that you should always be looking at, right?
Yeah.
So whether it is a POC or minimum viable product, or whether it is not there where it should be, these are all small things, and these don't really matter, of course, as long as you are very, very clear about the problem. See, most of these kind of problems are hyper local, right? Now, what I mean by hyper local is very, very niche to certain set of customers. Now, customers could be your students, could be your faculty, or whoever it is, right? So it's very limited to these people, and you cannot use it as a solution for other common people, right, or other population as a whole. So when you're working on such problems, hyper local problems, you need to come up with hyper local solutions as well. So think about in these terms, right? I don't really need an answer now, but I'd love to connect some other time, but we need to respect others' time.
Just like very quickly, can we point out the privacy angle, like that you asked about?
So, for example, when you're hosting it, you should make sure that the privacy of the faculty is respected, right? And
yes. So this can be like consent based. Like even you put out videos, like the faculties that put out videos on school
one
cloud,
second, Utkarsh, one second. I would like to definitely continue this conversation. I think I and Vijay, we have shared our contact. If you're not very sure, we are welcome to contact us. I'm willing to invest more time in your idea, but I think at this point of time, let us move ahead, because I think we have a 2:30 closing.
No problem. Thanks for the insights, and thanks.
No hard feelings, but I just want
to not at all.
DRM,
So I guess
we can connect.
Correct. So the security can be solved via DRM. That's what we wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
team.
Thank
you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So can we move on to technocrats?
Yes.
Team technocrats, are you here?
Yeah, we are here.
All right. Please go ahead.
Yeah, 1 second. We'll just share the screen. Hello everyone, I'm Navya from Team Technocrats. Our problem statement here is every individual, every person wants to build his dream house, dream place where he would love to stay. And this dream can be fulfilled by architects. And in real life, architects are not very much approachable. So we here have built a platform where individuals or even contractors can directly contact with the architect. Nikita, my teammate, she will carry on with the demonstration of the homepage.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So this is a home page where we are giving a basic idea about our website. So if like here we are telling, if you want to try a new designs or a market, you want to build a house, you have to know more, then this is a good website for you to connect to the architect. And this, likewise, even architect to showcase their creativity, this is also a website for them to showcase their creativity. And there's a small GIF that we have put over here. And this website is basically about connecting and customer to architect in the most easy way. uh, so now Navya will take up with the customer part.
Okay. So whenever a new customer comes to our website, and of course, as we saw in the homepage, we had two sectors. One is the whole customer and the architect. The customer may be an individual or a contractor or a builder. So as soon as he clicks on it, he can see there are types of architects. We have taken altogether 5 types of architects, and all the other architects other than these types comes under others. And now we'll go on with industrial architect. And as soon as he clicks on the industrial architect, we can see a list of profiles. And the customer, on basis of the ratings and the pictures uploaded by the architect, he can decide if he wants to go with the architect or not. So when we click on the profile of the architect, so yeah, this is how his profile looks. We have his details, his social media profiles, and his previous work. So because he can upload his previous work, so the individuals can decide if they want to go with this person or not. And along with all these, we have a chat window. If individual or even the architect has any issues with the website, they can contact us to the WhatsApp over here.
So now I'll take for the architect. So now, sir, for architect, we are creating 2 pages, which is a login and register. If they're the first time user, they'll register themselves with their username, password, and email, which is linked to the SQL. I'll try to register.
Nikita, I would really love you to skip this. I believe you have done that. I think done this. I think Vijay will agree on this. So let's quickly go into the sign in with where you have already have created a, I guess, username or something. Don't
Yes,
try to create a new profile. Yeah.
after you come in, sign into this website, the user has to put into all the details. So should I skip this or should I do this?
Yeah, let's skip this. Just show me what it looks like once I create it as a, if I am an architect, how does it look like?
Then we'll come to the payment part where we'll be giving them an account number, all the related details regarding the bank, and they'll have to deposit the amount. But so far we have not yet done anything related to that. But after that, we'll be giving a link to the architect where they can weave their profile after the database. We are using the database in which they're putting in the form. So coming to the profile, the same thing as what we show for the customer, we'll have to show it for this, and we have an edit option over here. And so last time you asked us to create a tool for the architect, so we tried something on that too. Uh, so this is a canvas where you can write, and there are so many colors where you can select and write them, and you can write it in terms of rectangles. You can draw stuff with different so like this we can draw.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, this is the tool that we created after you asked us to do a tool part.
Yeah, I think you understood the idea that I was bringing in, which is if you're just creating an informational site, people obviously take the information, they can go offline, and you don't get to monetize any of it, right? But now you understood the value, and I can see that you are retaining the customer because you are now allowing them to create that sketch or design draft, a very rough sketch, right? They start with pencil sketches, typically architects, or digital sketches with an iPad or something. So now you're bringing this into your own website, right? So that clearly says that you might be able to retain the way they do business within your own application. So that is really good. So did you have any other features that are really critical and you want to showcase? Otherwise, I guess Vijay can start with questions.
Hi, Nikita. Can I start?
Yes, sir.
So I think this is great. What's more important to me than anything else is, you are very quick to accept the feedback and then try it out, right? I think this is the spirit everybody should have in a hackathon. Now, having said that, what I'm more interested in, look, if you look in today's world, right? Generally, there are builders and contractors who would generally offer you packages from your architecture design to fully furnished house. Now they generally have their own network where um, where a particular architect is being consulted by like 4 or 5 builders, and then he generally provide his services to them. Now, apart from that, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if any architect would be interested in getting himself on a portal where an individual a customer who would want to build a house, right, would be interested in contacting a particular architect and then getting his designs done from him. But the reason why I'm saying this is based on my recent experience of getting in touch with a lot many contractors and architects. As I said, getting in directly in touch with with an architect is not it's not pretty easy, right? And then he might give you some sketches, but since they already have a kind of I don't want to use the word nexus, but a network, it becomes pretty difficult to to kind of do mix and match services. So this is a real world scenario, right? Though what have you been thinking to solve is great. So I just wanted to know if you've done any kind of groundwork to understand what is the scenario or what are the pain points of the architects. If you try to get in touch with any of the architects who are ready to who are open for such a solution.
So the problem is all beginner architectures, they won't find a customer as soon as they come to the field. Or coming to the customer's part, it is not every time that a middleman or a
great. So I have a question here for you. I want to stop you here. So for example, let's say if you have a 60/40 plot and then you have a budget of say 1 or 1.25 crores, would you really go with a novice architect who doesn't have any experience? Are you ready to invest 1.25 crores on a newbie? Seriously?
In that case, no, sir. But it depends on every taste. So maybe you will like architecture who does in his own way, or you will like the way he's doing the sketches or something.
I think we are digressing, Nikita. Let's stick to the point. My question is, so you said newbie architects find it very difficult to find customers. Agreed. Now, as a customer, as an end customer, are you ready to shell down your one plus crore on a newbie architect, or you would want to go with a seasoned architect? Let's not get into the philosophical aspects. You have got 1 crore to build a building, and that's all you have. And then you really want to bank upon somebody who's had no experience, who's just out of the college.
Sir, I think a customer gets to know about architect in the initial stage, at least a little bit about an architect. Is he capable enough to take this project or not? So because we are giving the connection.
You still didn't answer my question as a customer. Let's do a role play.
I would check, sir. I would check the architect once if he's he's ready to do it, if he is capable to do
I'm
it,
ready to
then I
do
would
it.
give it
Yes,
to him.
I'm capable. Yes, I'm capable. I've got very good marks in my architecture engineering. Now what? I'm planning to start up my own firm with 3 more friends, and you are going to be my first customer.
Yeah, I will give a chance mostly, sir.
Mostly, and you're ready to bet your 1 crore on this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it means you got a lot of money, right?
No, sir.
No, I'm just kidding. So you need to be really pragmatic here, Nikita, right? So I want you to think very, very practically at a ground level, right? So when we go to builders, or let's say if I want to buy an apartment, do I really go with some rookie, or if I can sell down a crore, why not go with Prestige or Mantri or someone like that, right? Or Purvankara. And what makes me go with a rookie builder, right? I mean, if I'm selling 1 crore or 1.5 crores, that's what I look at. I look at the credibility of the guy who's providing services for me. Now, this is one part. The second part is, did you get in touch with architects to understand, do they really need this kind of a solution, or they are really looking for this kind of a solution? Or you're just trying to assume that the freshers out there would really find it very hard to find customers? Or how many of the freshers are really looking for customers directly, or how many of the freshers are really looking to get placed in big companies for big builders, and then gain experience and then move out on their own? I think what I'm trying to invite you here is to do a more groundwork, approach these kind of people, approach architects, right? So you said, it's difficult to approach architects. Did you try approaching one?
No, sir, but I have taken input from my parents about this.
No, fine. It's great that you've taken input from your parents, but did you really take input from an architect?
No, sir.
So basically, you're trying to build a solution for a profession about whom you don't know anything about, right? You haven't interacted with them enough. See, I'm not trying to demotivate you. What you need to understand is, see, this is a common problem across all the hackathons that I judge, right? Please invest some time in understanding the problem you're trying to solve. There are people who would want to cater a particular segment of people, and then they don't have any information about that people. Somebody wanted to come up with a technological solution for tribal people. I mean, forget about a technological solution. They don't even know what mobiles are, right? And then you're talking about Android and iOS apps for them. I've seen such solutions in the past. Now they don't. I mean, the problem with tribal people have totally different than, they don't need a technological solution. They need 2 square meals a day. They need a shelter. Now that's their major problem. They need work. They don't need your fancy Android phones and Apple phones, or a technological solution. They don't really bother. They need 2 square meals a day. And now if you can leverage technology to solve that problem, then you are a superhero, right? So please understand the mindset or the requirements of the people for whom you are trying to build a solution. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
And no hard feelings, Nikita, but this is something very, very important. See, this has some monetary value, right? This can be productized. There is no doubt about it. But the point is, you need to do a little more groundwork, right? Try to understand the real problems which architects are facing, right? I understand the passion. Go and talk to architects, understand what are their problems, and then try finding a solution, right?
Yes, sir. So we were more bothered about the customer reaching out to an architect without any middleman.
See, now, correct, but then you need to look at, there are different models, right? B2C, B2B, B2B2C, like business to customer, business to customer, and then business to business. There are different models, right? So you cannot be focused only on one end of the ecosystem, one part of the ecosystem. When you're trying to monetize it, when you're trying to productize this, it means you have an ecosystem, and then you have consumers, then you have service providers, then you have technology, you have all these actors in place. And you need to make sure that you understand the pain points of all these actors, all these entities who are involved in the ecosystem. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's all.
I just wanted to add one more comment before we, I guess, close in. Vijay, did you have anything else to say?
No, that's all.
Yeah. I think great work so far. I think you are the thing Vijay mentioned. I really appreciate that you're willing to take the feedback, right? So now the question I want you to think about. I don't want an answer. I just want to end the conversation and move on to the next team after this. But what I want you to really think is, really go talk to an architect, as Vijay suggested. But beyond an architect, right, there are these, I mentioned that Udemy is a platform where people can collaborate in similar ways, right? So I really want you to understand, what is the feature, if you were tomorrow you hired at Udemy and you become a product manager, what is the first feature you will build in Udemy which is not in Udemy today, right? So I want you to think in that direction. I think there's a bright future when you think in that direction, because now you are going with a product that is used by millions of people. I have myself used Udemy before, and now you're trying to build one single feature, right? I want you to identify a start, like an idea, and go hack it, and then go build a product around it, right? So then obviously you can copy whatever Udemy did. There's no internet works like that, right? Many features can be reproduced without any issues, because there's no IP around common knowledge, right? Then I want you to think about those critical areas, and then think beyond architects, right? You want to scale this product. How many architects are there? How many people are really using architects? I know that there are people who build everything with just contractors, right? There are civil engineers who are as talented as architects. They just don't have the title, right? So I want you to think in that direction, so that you just think of how would you scale this beyond architects. There are so many professions that need to be connected, but there the question of whether you would trust a one person who is a new graduate does not apply. Say for example in art, right? You want to have a custom art in your office, and you don't know how to reach out to an artist, and you have an idea, you have a concept that you want your startup's entrance to have a huge painting, right? So you need to think in those directions. But I think your team has that mindset to think about it. I want you to really push yourselves. Again, we are going to be available if you need any further clarifications, or you have questions
Absolutely. We'd
much
love
beyond
to
this.
spend more time with you guys on this. I think
I really appreciate this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at the big picture, right? So, the smaller, the myopic vision gets you nowhere, right? It will just be an idea. So, fill life into it, right? And make it big, think big. That's when, you can really get this productized and then get it into market. And, since it has potential, I'd love to spend more time with you on this.
Yes, so we'll try to work on it more now.
Thank you. I think we can go ahead with the next team.
Sure. Thank you, team. Can we have Code Stars next up?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
So let me just share my screen. Is my screen shared? Can anyone confirm?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. So like we would like to first start with a small presentation which we have created. Good afternoon, everyone present here, judges and all my colleagues. We are team CodeStars and have in this hackathon proposed to make a KYC document verification with live video system. And my group members include Shreya Shetty, Shruti Shetty, and myself, Kushal Shah. So moving on towards a problem definition. So as we all know that we are moving towards completely digital onboarding of customers across various sectors, and many businesses have adopted digital means, and then they need to verify the customers, or they require customer documents to identify their authenticity. And basically due to which we can see that the continued fraud reports where customers upload forged documents and fake accounts are getting created. Hence, we propose to make a more secure system by digitally scanning these documents and extracting the customer's photo as provided during by the customer. So, for example, Aadhaar card is provided by the customer, its driving license is provided, or PAN card is provided. They have a photo over there. So we extract that photo, and then the user goes for a 20 to 30 seconds live video session wherein frames are being captured, and then the photo extracted and the frames captured are merged, or you can say a face matching algorithm is used over there, wherein we'll come to know that the person, the documents that provided by the person and the person is basically a real genuine customer or not. So this is a major system which we propose so as to solve this particular problem. Now coming to a social relevance. So whenever we make a product like this, we actually have to find how relevant it is for the society as well. So as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has massively driven people, organizations to adopt digital means. Even governments are adopting this means, and so many businesses, like say banking businesses, they need people want to open a bank account, so they don't have to go physically to a bank. They need to have an online KYC system. That's where this kind of a product will be of great help to these businesses. And with all and security also comes into picture. So during this development of this product, we have also taken care of the government policies and the gazette notifications that were issued by government, and even RBI has issued a notification where they have given the permission for video based KYC verification online. So moving on to market service. So before we started developing this product, we went through existing solutions for the product as well. So as you can see, the phone is a API, phone number verification API provided by a company named Telesign. So they basically give on giving your phone number through this API, they will provide you with an OTP, and with verification of that OTP, if the OTP is correct, the customer that's verified. This is a simple basic format which works. Then there are some eKYC Aadhaar verification APIs which uses OCR method. OCR signifies the optical character recognition methods. And there's one more method, that is verification through government of India's eKYC platform or DigiLocker. Then there is a video identification app which is provided by Advanced Tier. So these were some existing solutions, but majorly what we find was that they are also recording a 30 second, you can say a video of 30 seconds, but then the process then becomes manual on their part from the backend. Basically, a person verifies it manually. Hence, we wanted to automate this whole process, and thus to automate this process, we wanted a face verification algorithm. You can say face matching algorithms. So majorly went through some research work also included initially at the start of our project. So that was two of the papers which we went through. First one was Facebook's face verification algorithm. So it's one of the latest face verification system which is being currently adopted by Facebook, and research scholars at Facebook are working on it currently, and they have this algorithm has achieved an accuracy of 97.25% as per the paper which we went through. Second one was the image comparison based algorithm using contour similarity, where it uses the Euclidean distance and cosine distance method to find a similarity in objects, basically in faces. Now moving on to objectives, I would request Jyothy to take over from here.
Okay, so main objectives of our project is to perform the face matching using the live video cam and the government ID proof. That is, first the person will be uploading the PDF of the Aadhaar card. The image extracted from that will be matched with the live video cam which is captured. Then to check for the authentication of the ID proof provided. And this basically reduce the manpower for KYC verification, since there is no need of another bank official to stay there and to capture the photo of the live video. And this will basically build a more secure as well as a transparent system for KYC verification. Moving on to the methodology that we have proposed. So basically, first it is extraction of face of user using the ID card, which is uploaded, and all this is done using the Python thing, hard cascade. And another thing which is done in the second step is the photo capture during the live video session. Moving on, we make a web application where we compare these images and where we display whether the image is verified is proper or not. And this is done using the face verification model, and the result is displayed whether it's successful or not. So this is basically the flow of our website. First we log in, then we go to the dashboard. Then in the step one, we upload the PDF of the Aadhaar card and where the face is extracted. Then in the second, the person has to switch on the video cam will be switched on, in which the screenshot will be taken in 20 to 30 seconds automatically. Two photos are taken so that if there is a chance in one that the person is not not paying attention, the second can be done. In the third, there is verification where the two images are compared and the result is displayed. And the last one, in which we have done the QR code verification, where the person has to type in the QR code, the Aadhaar card number, as well as the name of the person in the Aadhaar card. And using the decode thing, we have compared that, we have scanned that QR code of the Aadhaar card, and we have seen if it matches matches both the things. And if it matches, then the verification process is completed. And then we basically go to the dashboard, and there is this logout page. So these are the modules that we have implemented.
Once again, can I interrupt you for a moment? Can we go to the demo first and then come back to these if we have more questions?
Yes. Shreya will be taking care of the demo. So these are
let's go straight to that. I think we can skip all the tech stack and all these. I am confident that you are capable of it. Let's go directly to the demo. Yeah. Thanks.
Yes, Shreya will be moving on with the demo.
Yes.
Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes.
So this is what the homepage of our website looks like. So this is the sign up page, and then there's a login page. So I've already made an account, so I can directly sign in. Okay, so this is basically the dashboard. Over here, a little bit about the KYC process is given, and then the steps are given so that the user can easily follow the steps. Then there is the profile of the user. So over here, the status is currently not verified, and after the verification process ends, it will change its status accordingly once it's verified. So we'll start with the process. So, so this is the first step, and this I'm basically uploading my Aadhaar card. So it's a PDF. So basically, it's first converted to an image, and then the face of the user is extracted from that image. So from here, this is the second step, the live video camera session. This will go on for about like 30 seconds. And 2 screenshots are basically taken in this 30 seconds interval. And you can even see that in the terminal as well. So whenever a screenshot is captured, it will be printed on the terminal as well for us to check. So when the first image was saved, it was printed over here. After this, the verification using the deep face verification model takes place. Meanwhile, we can see the data set. So here, basically, a folder is created in which the face extracted from the image which was uploaded and from the camera session is saved. And basically, these 3 images are compared. So we take 2 screenshots so that if in the first one, the user is not looking or probably the image is blurred. So in that case, the second image is used for verification. And once it shows true, the user will be shown as verified. So my profile is verified. Now the next step is going to be verification of the QR code. So basically I have to enter, like I've uploaded my Aadhaar card. So I'll be writing my Aadhaar number and my full name as it is given in the Aadhaar card. So from the QR code, these two will be verified. Now since it was same and the QR code is successfully verified, it's showing a green tick and the process ends. So you can go back to the dashboard. Okay, now when we check the profile, the status is shown as verified. So that's basically the whole process.
So the question I wanted to start off with is, how would you hack the system if you were trying to game this, right? I really want to understand how you would hack it.
So like, sir, are you telling like if some hacker comes in and tries to hack our system, anything of that?
No. I'm saying I'm a customer,
Yeah.
but I'm a fraudulent customer, right? I want to cheat your bank or financial institution or something, right? So I'm trying to get into your system as a legitimate customer. How can I game it?
So actually in this process, we have not encrypted the part where we have stored the data. So it is easier from there to hack. This is not basically now in our scope, but it will be easier to hack in this way because we have not encrypted. For that, we have to encrypt the part where we are supposed to store the data.
No, even beyond encryption, right?
Yeah,
Can I
sir.
hack your algorithm?
No. So what Shruti meant was that since you are uploading your Aadhaar card, then it's our responsibility to store your Aadhaar card or use this.
No, I get that. I get that point. I'm not even talking. Kushal, once again, let me interrupt you. Let me clarify my question. I'm not even worried about the encryption or the security of the data, right? I'm worried about your algorithm, right? I want you to tell me whether your algorithm is hackable or why it is hackable or whether it is impenetrable and why it is impenetrable, right? I want you to, I want to understand that clarity. I know that your presentation was very well done. It had a lot of technical content. So I really want to understand if you know the very fundamentals of issues of using those techniques, right?
Okay, yes, sir. So basically, first thing is like right now, if let us assume that your Aadhaar card, you uploaded your Aadhaar card, or you can have fake Aadhaar card, okay? But in that fake Aadhaar card, there might be a case like your face. As you see, our second process is like we'll be using a face verification algorithm over here. So definitely, you will come on the on your live camera, and we'll capture 2 frames during that live video. Now the next part is like if that also gets matched, then we'll go for the QR code. But in QR code, if your data is not matching with the Aadhaar number which you have which you have given, then in that case your like authenticity is captured and it will say that you are a fake customer. And one more thing is that right now since we ourselves don't have an access to government's data and we don't have the permission to get government's data, so we cannot add more layers of verification over here because now basically from scanning that QR code, you can actually access government's data that with this Aadhaar number is that person. So basically, so your name is Mr. Shashank. So does Mr. Shashank exist with this Aadhaar number in government records as well? Because from QR code, we can extract your data as well. So that was a layer of security verification, and plus we can say like you can authenticate the customer and prevent fraud customers from entering the system. And the first part that is face verification, that is like even if you like change the face of a person while uploading like you can say image extraction, but there can be a case where the image gets you can crop the image, like you can change the particular image from Aadhaar card because you also are scanning it and then uploading it. So there might be a leak over here, but QR code will make the system more transparent and more clear.
How vulnerable is it from the hardware perspective, right? Like I'm not even saying it is hacking, right? At that point of time, where do you think it fails? Like I think Shruti or Shreya, one of them demoed the product. I saw their face on the page. and it looked very grainy, right? So what happens if the end customer has a very unique device or has a very old device, right? How will they still be able to use this functionality and show that they are a legitimate customer and get access to the system, right? So I want you to think about it. I don't expect an answer for this
Yeah,
point,
so
but
I am
I
right
guess
now
I'll
thinking one thing.
no, Kushal. When I say we don't expect answer, I think we are very clear on that. I would like Vijay to intervene and step in and weigh in on his questions before. Yeah. Before
I
we go
think
ahead.
I've already had a discussion with this team last night, and my
Yeah.
only question is, looking at the digital divide that exists in India, right? It's very important to make sure that we have equitable access to this product by everyone, right? So that's my only point here, which I think you should be looking at.
Yes. So like, can I just answer one of your questions? Like, I got an idea what you were trying to say. What I meant, like, one thing which we can do is, like, since right now we are working with a local, like a file is being created in the data set, right? But same thing when we like put hosted in a cloud platform like Amazon or Azure or Google Cloud platforms, then in that case, this system can be accessible to everyone. I don't have a much idea on that, but I am
No,
thinking
Kushal, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant, right? So
the edge device is the problem, right? Vijay is saying
yes.
you're assuming that everyone has a smartphone with a front-facing camera with 8 megapixels, for example.
Right.
I don't think that is necessarily true. And why would we deny access to customers who don't have that means, but they still have earning potential in the future?
True. I have another point here, Shashank. So let's say if this is a product which will be generally used by the BFSI industry, right? And none of the BFSI industries are allowed to have a cloud based solution as per the RBI, mandate. So your solution of scaling it up on AWS or Azure doesn't hold good.
Oh,
so
right. Actually, I didn't know about this policy.
Yes, so that's why I've been emphasizing, please do a thorough research of your problem. Please understand the problem very correctly, right? So this is something very, very important. Now, what I mean by equitable access is not just, okay, AWS is there, everybody can access AWS. No, it's about the customer side, right? Do every customer have access to a phone or any other device which would let him access your product or use your product, right?
Correct.
Yep. That's it. I think we can. That's all I have. Shashank, if you have any questions.
No, I think we should move on to the next.
We should move on. Yeah. Okay.
Can we have optimized prime?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
And I request everyone to start with the demo if that is available, because I really love to see demos more than presentations at this point.
Yeah, can I just introduce everybody?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, could you imagine India being like very less populated country right now? Actually, no, right? So the population growth we can't control, but we can't control how to manage them. So we came across the problem that population, I mean, overcrowding is a problem in restaurants and public places. So that was a problem, and we tried to come up with a simple solution. And we are from Jyothy Institute of Technologies, currently in second sem. We did what we could in the respective time period, and Krishna will be showing you the demo of the product. Then I'll be talking about the marketing aspect as well. Over to you, Krishna.
Good afternoon, judges. This is Krishna. I'll straight away head to the demonstration of the project. This is the IR sensor 1. The other side is the IR sensor 2. Here is the LCD display where it shows number of slots present. And when a person walks in, he would be triggered by the first IR sensor, and the servo motor turns on, and the second IR sensor is triggered and it closes. So as you could have noticed, there were number of slots were left was 2, and right now it has become 1. So 1 second, let me do it so that it would be very clear to you. Is it visible, sir?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Right now there is one slot left right now, and one more person walks in, the same process happens, and the servo motor closes. Now the function of the device comes in. The number of slots left are 0. Is it visible?
Yes.
So when one more person tries to walk inside the community hall or any place inside, it shows you a notification that the house is full. Is it visible, sir?
Yeah.
Sorry, there was some problem with the digital wire. I'll fix it. Due to the motion, I got disturbed.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe get
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We believe you have implemented that. So I think is that the demo, the main part of the demo? Is that done?
Yeah, sir. And
yeah,
it basically limits number of people getting inside. As of now, in any restaurants or any community places, people are left in slots, but there is actually no count of people. How many people are there inside the community hall? So this product makes sure that there are exact number of people inside the room, no more less or no more less, maybe not exceeding the limit. And so it would be clearly transparent, and it is very simple to use, and being very affordable. I think so every community where people walk in and there is no kind of policies for social distancing, I'm pretty sure we can implement it there, so that at least we'll have check on the social distancing part of the in the society. I think this concludes the demo part of the project. And from yesterday's review session, a few things which I changed were, the questions were, if you wanted to walk in with your dog, how would you do? Because it used to sense only one person is going in or coming out. So we would add a weight sensor, so that it would have a double check and tell there are 2 people here and 2 people are going in. And one more question which was raised was, as of now it is just for one gate, that the place where it has both entry and exit. So if I wanted to do something where a community place is having an exit and an entry, so I can create multiple gates, because I can manage 3 channels from this. So I think I can create multiple gates from it. And for error handling, I would correct few codes, so that it doesn't do the repeated triggers. And for coming to the commercial product, I would rather use PCB of 80 tiny, so that the actual price comes down, and it can be controlled. And to the market, we can introduce few modules, like if the person wants something like this, where he can choose, if his place is having one entry and one exit, he can choose this. Or if he's having one entry, the same entry and exit, he can choose this. If he's having different entry and exit, we can customize it, so that he can use it as a multiple gate. And right now we are using IR sensor, because it has both receiver and then transmitter at one place. But the other alternatives could be laser, where we need to install a transmitter at one place and a receiver at one place, which can create some hassle. So as of now, this concludes the demo of our project, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll be taking over the marketing aspects. I know there's a time constraint, but could I just do that?
Bharat, let us do one thing. Let Vijay step in, and I request Vijay to go ahead first, and then
Sure.
you can. Well, I think the questions are going to align with what you want to speak about as well. So yeah, I'll let Vijay
I think
start.
thanks a lot, Shashank. I think my first question, I have a lot of questions now. So all right, I'll let you talk about a little bit of marketing, so I'll ask those questions. So what is the price range that you're looking at? Imagine you come up with a full-fledged product, right? So what is the price range that you're looking at?
Sir, the finished product is estimated to be costing around somewhere 12,000 or 10 to 12,000 rupees.
10 to
And
12,000 rupees.
yeah. Yeah, so this basically, if you are selling this product, it has to be a licensing deal to these automatic door manufacturers and this metal
Right.
detector. Yeah.
I think I have a more fundamental question. So
Okay.
if see, though I mean, your end clientele will be, malls and upscale restaurants and all these places, right? So of course they can afford a bit more. My only point is, with the cost of hardware coming down, and I would really love to see some kind of a camera or at least a PIR sensor, right? Mm, than a very basic IR, right? So that is something that I would really love to see. At least having a camera to detect how many number of people, or let's say, for example, now let's say I've got a let's say a old person comes walking in and then he needs some time, and this would basically lead. This might lead to tailgating, right? And since we are talking about crowded places, people wouldn't mind tailgating others, right? And this could lead to a very serious concern. So this is one question that I have, right? You might
Sure.
think about it. You might
PIR
think about it.
sensors cannot be directed, isn't it? So I thought IR sensors can be directed, so I implemented them. But we'll definitely try.
PIR will let you detect a motion around. Now, what happens in case of somebody who's walking slow or who's aged, or let's say somebody who's having a problem with the leg and is trying to recover it. So you just can't keep it open and let people tailgate them, right? So this is something that you need to take care of. This could very well be a corner case, but it's very very practical. You just cannot uh, you know um, say that this wouldn't happen, at least in a place as crowded as India, right?
Yes.
Considering the population that we have. Now, second question is, what stops you from using a camera-based sensor, right? So that's my another question. Um, that's my another question. And point number three, did you really talk to your potential clients? Let's say for example, all the upscale restaurants that would probably be using this, they already have a reservation system. So let's say, for example, if I'm going out with my clients for a dinner, I would make sure that my office pre-books a particular upscale restaurant and make sure that um, uh, we get the proper place when we enter, and even before we reach the restaurant, the table is already booked for us. So when I have these kind of services available, when all these upscale restaurants are mostly based on valet parking and booking and pre-booking, why do you think they would need these kind of services, right? So
So
what's I mean, yeah, go
yes,
ahead.
please, sir. So coming to camera modules, so we thought of keeping the product price low. As of now, due to the actual not
But
having
not
lack of
having a
knowledge.
camera defeats the purpose of the whole product, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
what's more important is when you are at a product design stage, it's very very important to understand what do you want this product to do, and what are the components that help in getting that done. So you need to chalk this out very very clearly, right?
Yes, sir.
Once you have a minimum viable product, then you can think about optimizing the cost or optimizing the scalability or optimizing the implementation, whatever, right? So first get something up and running perfectly, right? So now when I mean by perfectly, it should do what it is intended to do. I don't want to see a very specialized automated door or anything as such. Whatever you're demonstrating should do what it is intended to do, right?
Yes, sir. It
So
is.
that's
It is.
that's what I call a minimum viable product. So first decide on what should be the features in a minimum viable product, and then what components will help you in building a minimum viable product. And then let's think about whether the cost is optimal or not, or can we optimize the cost somewhere? Can we cut the cost? That's all secondary, right? No.
Yes, sir. May I just add that, sir, the product is simple right now, but when I mean, if we follow Mr. Shashank's I mean, yesterday in mentoring session, he had given PPTS as a way to go. So people, product, traction, and strategy. Okay, so this product, people and product, I mean, people is like, it's a general market, and especially in this COVID pandemic, this is a huge game changer thing, right? So that is a
It could
people.
very well be. Absolutely, absolutely. There's no I mean, there's no contention of that point. But another question, I mean, this leads me to another question. What about a scenario where the pandemic is officially over in another 2 to 3 years, and then people are still free to roam around the way they used to do about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, so
What will you do with your product then?
see, it's like, see, the metal detector doors and all that tickets and such are there everywhere. If you just consider Indian Metro, the
True.
coin system and the card systems are there. Obviously,
True.
they are the way to go. So in the future, we can just implement this product like using a Wi-Fi module and generating a QR code and such.
Correct. But what happens in the scenario when the pandemic is over and people start crowding all over?
Yes, sir. That time it will be of even more use, right? So people are, actually scared to get out of their house.
No. You need to look in another way. If you look at all these big malls, I'll give an example of Foreign Mall or One Tree Mall or any such what do you call that, for a forum, Kormangla, right? So they have a key parameter index called as footfall, right? And for any mall, the footfall is very, very important, and at any point in time, any mall does not want the footfall to reduce. Now, the footfall is number of people walking into the mall. So you cannot really restrict on, this could be harmful to their businesses, right? So right now the government has a mandate for half the capacity. Theaters could be running in half capacity, but 2 or 3 years down the line, I don't think this will be the case. We can't even predict what's going to happen, right? Probably Netflix and Amazon Prime might take over all the theaters, and people might stop going to the theaters at all, right? But then again, in the malls, I mean, there may not be restriction. Now, let's assume the worst case, that there is no restriction on number of people or any social distancing. In that case, if the government is not mandating it, then none of your clients, it could be McDonald's, it could be Subway, it could be KFC, anybody, right? Or any community hall or any restaurant, they would really want people to, walk in a lot and make sure they recover all the losses. So how do you see what would be the roadmap of your product? Is it agile enough to suit to the given particular conditions, and then maybe you could add different features, come up with a makeover of your product, or what's going to be the life cycle of your product?
Okay, so sir, as you told that theaters will be closing down, yeah, even I agree. That I think the OTT platforms will take over, but I'm definitely sure that it won't be in the next 5 or 6 years. That is for sure, right? So
You never know, right? We never know how markets behave, right? Probably could just look at how the stocks of PVR are fluctuating, or Inox.
yes, sir, but that is because of the pandemic, right? Again.
Yeah, agreed. But you never know what's going to happen in the next 5 years, or the government could just say, look, we are lifting all the ban, and then people can just flood in. So do you really think people would need your product then?
Well, in certain cases, no, sir, but it will be required though in some cases, like very professional meetings or
What kind of professional meetings?
where people are the amount of people are restricted. Obviously, it's like.
Can you give me an example?
All right. So hotels basically. If usually these companies, the huge companies, they book a hotel like one block of rooms, one whole block of one floor of rooms for a particular reason. and there is only one meeting hall. Okay, so what I suggest is like there should be a QR code to let the employees walk in and not the rest of the people.
In that case, or based on my personal experiences, whether it's India or Europe or US, in these cases, the concierge services generally takes care of what your app necessarily does or what your product necessarily does, and that too with a human touch. So I don't need a robot letting me in and letting me out, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not necessary that it should be a human, right? It's far more convenient to the hotel as well.
Do you really feel? Do you really want a robot to welcome you than a human being?
Well, instead of welcoming, it just lets you in, and then a person would welcome.
Seriously, then if there is a robot and a person, I would prefer only person and not a robot, right?
Yeah. So.
But think about it. You are into a corporate meeting. I keep visiting one. I mean, one far too often, and then when I just get into the hotel and say and just tell my name, the concierge services already know that I'm Vijay Kulkarni, and why have I stepped into that hotel and in which boardroom my meeting is going to be, and there are people who would generally escort me there, so they know whom to let in, whom not to let in, right? And so and generally they give a call to the boardroom.
Vijay, just to can I step in a bit?
Yeah, no problem.
I think the more fundamental thing that we discussed is the problem statement, right? I just want to draw attention to that before we move to the next team. I guess there's one more
don't
team.
want to digress,
Yeah, that is correct. So the question that I have for this team is, what if you can you restate your problem statement in a sentence, right? I want to really understand what that is, and then based on that, I have a question.
It's basically a crowd control management system, automated crowd control management system.
Right. Why? Can you state the whole purpose, right? To address the COVID social distancing rules or regulations associated with some building codes, right? Is that the correct way to put it?
Yeah, well, yeah, because of the pandemic, we got this idea.
Yes, I agree that I think the idea, the objective is good. But what I'm saying is, now I want you to answer which scenario is more riskier, right? Let's say a building, an indoor enclosure where people are allowed to go in. It has a building code says you can allow 50 people, right?
Yeah.
And you allow 55 people, right? So
yeah.
This is scenario number one. The second scenario is the same building. It says 50 is a head count. You allow 20 people, but 2 of those people have a fever, right? Which one according to you is the more risky scenario? Is it allowing one person more than 50, or is it 20 with 2 people who have some sort of a fever? You don't know whether it is COVID or flu or something else, right?
Yeah, well, both are risky, but comparatively, the second one is...
I want you to arrive at one answer. I want you to arrive at one answer and defend it. Yeah. So make up your mind, arrive at one answer, defend it.
Yeah. So as you told, the 20 people with the ill people are more risky.
Exactly. The point I'm trying to tell you is, I think what I want to call out is, I think most of you are from second semester. Is that correct?
Yeah, all of us are from second sem. Yeah.
That is, I really want to call out this team, right? I don't know if I'm sorry if I did not call out other teams, but second semester you're thinking into problems much ahead of your coursework. I really appreciate that. But I want you to push in this direction, right? I think you are looking at a very important scenario. I think there is a multi crore market or multi-million dollar market if you think across the world. But what I am trying to get to is, I think the risk of you have to re-understand your problem statement, that you are not there to regulate, you are not there to enforce government's regulation on or building codes. You are there to prevent infection from happening from gatherings, right? So what I feel is, tying back to Vijay's question, a heat sensing camera can be used to not only detect how many individual people are there in that pipeline entering into that room, but can also be used to understand the the next dimension, which is the body temperature, right?
We could
So I
use
want
a
you to
thermal
think. So
imaging as well.
exactly. So thermal imaging, it can address both of these problems at the same time. So the reason I wanted to point you is not to say that I am smarter than you. The reason I wanted to point out is I want you to think in this direction. I think there is a whole potential in your team. I want you to go work this out. If you have any questions, again, I'm open to talking. It is already 3:20 a.m., but I am super enthusiastic to continue this conversation on a different date. So with that, I think I am done. Vijay, if you have any other closing
No, I
comments.
think I'm done. One last comment was, I think what you need to do is be more focused on the problem and not get carried away by the different thoughts, right? Because it's very easy to digress on on a topic which has such a wide range of applications. So what's more important here is to pick one problem and say, hey, look, this is one part of the problem that we are solving, and you solve it well, and that opens doors to a multi-million-dollar market, right?
Yes,
So be focused on the problem, and it's really commendable that you're thinking much ahead in time compared to what looking at your academic aspect right now. You're thinking much ahead in time, and that's something that I really want to appreciate. So just make sure that you don't get digressed very easily. It's pretty easy to get digressed. No hard feelings, but please focus whenever you think you're digressing. Regroup and stick to the vision that you have. Stick to the problem statement that you have, and try solving it. That's all I have to say.
Yes, sir. We would definitely implement this, and I would just like to say it was a pleasure talking to you both.
Pleasure. You can always reach out to us on our emails or anything.
Yes, sir. We'll surely do that.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you, team.
Thanks, everyone.
So can we have Team Sonic? Before you guys start, I just have a small request. Can you guys keep your presentation short and sweet? Because we need to judge, respect the judges' time as well. So yeah, that's about it. Sutanva, are you trying to talk? Or is it just me who's not able to hear?
I think Sudhanva is on mute.
Okay.
Am I audible now?
Yes, but you're echoing.
Deeply sorry about that. Once again, I'll go back. And am I audible now?
Yes.
Wow, this is so embarrassing. I'm sorry.
No, it seems to be
am I
fine
audible
now. Yeah, it seems to be fine.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. So it uses Raspberry Pi as its main brain of operations and an I2C board to send all those commands to different servers, and has a 10 amps power supply DC to DC converter to convert the 12 volts which it is given to 6 volts effectively. These are the different pretty much drawings. It's 3D printed. The yellow part is PTG, black is black is PTG, yellow was PT. Sorry, yeah, and the white one was TPU, so that it's rubbery in nature. like sorry, so that it can be squishy. Now this is the circuit diagram. If anybody was interested, I'll show the product in just a minute. Would you like to know the uses right now or after the product? I think we'll go right away.
I think let's go directly to the demo. Let's go directly to the demo, and then we can come back. Yeah.
Sure. Give me a second.
Sudhanva, I think we lost you again.
Sudhanva, you're not audible. I'm sorry for the technical issue.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Oh, this is so sad. I'm extremely sorry about this. Okay, anyway, so this is our creation, which we are very passionate about. This is pretty much the robotic dog that was designed. The print took about 3 days, 10 hours, and still the casing isn't complete. It was supposed to be printed yesterday night, but that failed, like most of the parts. So effectively, we are using an Xbox controller to control the Raspberry Pis. It is giving the commands. What we were able to achieve in that time was the rotational axis like this and translation like this. It cannot walk. We aren't able to make it step forward. It used to trip around a lot, and that is still in progress. So I'll just show the demonstration. Okay, now it is active, and the controls are coming live from this thing. So I'll shift the thing up to the right. It's right, and it's going to the left. That is not nice. I did that too much. Okay, anyway, moving to the left, to the right, and it can go forward a bit. My bad. It's backward and then now forward. So the thing is, what? Am I still muted?
So then I think I believe that the rest of the demo works as well. So I wanted to quickly go back to questions, right? So when you say you designed, I want to really understand what your role was, right? I know you 3D printed it, and I really want to understand what you mean by, did you design it? Is it an open source project?
Yeah, yes, that is a very interesting thing. Now, the Spots SDK is open source. However, the designs aren't open source. Now, there are a couple of people who have pretty much replicated what the designs of the Spot was. So this is not an original idea per se, but here's the thing. This was designed, or the most of its design considerations were done by looking at the videos which are available on Boston Dynamics Spot, which was, I mean, it's a very unique.
No, I totally understand. What I'm asking fundamentally is, did your team design the hardware? When I say design, did you do the CAD work? Did you do the stress analysis?
No, stress
do you
analysis.
Have something to show? How did you analyze that the geometries are going to make it work and not fall? How did you analyze the center of gravity and those components?
Yes.
So I really want you to answer this question. I want you to be very faithful. You're not going to be just based on whether this is an open source bot or not. I want to really understand whether you designed this from scratch, which means you started from a blank CAD sheet and then you designed it, or you use some existing project, you downloaded it and you 3D printed. I really want to understand that.
No, this was not directly downloaded from. We did find the resources as in the dimensions of the original spot, and we have scaled down the original spot. So we are not responsible for any of the structural analysis. We did not do that because we didn't. The main reason is I do not know how to do that thing. I cannot analyze the structures thing. So
but
is an
spots designs. I know dimensions are available, but that is dimensions are just given so that people know how to carry it or store it. But how did you, like, unless you have an internal source in Boston Dynamics, how would you get the designs of individual components, right?
No, here's what we did. So the length, yeah, so these lengths are available, isn't it? Now we use the servo's dimension, and then the servo's dimensions are okay. Yeah, so the servo's dimensions are pretty much the thickness, and the length was given, so that was scaled down. Now, exactly this figure was pretty much a unique thing. This was unique. The length is modifiable, so we weren't sure about this length, so we have this particular piece is interchangeable. So what you can say is,
what tools did you use to design it?
Fusion 360.
Fusion 360. Okay. Would the team be willing to walk us through the design if that is necessary?
Yeah, sure. Sean, you have the thing running?
No, currently it's not running.
Yeah. So while he figures it out, I guess the other question I wanted to understand is what really you're trying to address, right? I know I actually am in a computer science PhD program, and a quadruped robot is in line with what I am thinking for one of my projects. Okay. And I obviously don't have the time to go and design it. So I really wanted to understand whether you spend the time to design it, because I know big schools like MIT, NYU, they have their own open source versions, and my version is you borrow a design that is already tested and stress tested in that sense, and you go buy those off the shelf components, off the shelf open source project, and you really go and focus on implementation of algorithms to stabilize it or to teach it to walk, and maybe reinforcement learning and things like that. So I really want you to think of what your answer is. And I guess Vijay, do you want to add a question or two in the same line? I guess.
Well, I think you've pretty much asked whatever I wanted to.
Yeah, I think what I am not very clear is when I ask a yes or no question, I definitely am expecting a yes or no question answer, right? So that means what I meant is, did you really scale something? I agree, scaling something is not design, right? Let's agree that scaling something is not design. So when, from that perspective, did you design the component is what I really want to understand.
When we were scaling, we were responsible for scaling down of the project.
For scaling. So is that an open source project? That can you acknowledge the open source project's title?
It's called of this thing. No, scaling down as in, no, spots design wasn't available. At least we weren't able to find spots. The dimensions, we only found the dimensions. We didn't find the 3D files for spot. There is another one which was called Open Cheetah 3, which is based on an aluminum body, and it is done by I forgot the name. I'll find out the resource if you want. I will have it.
Yeah, so the fundamental rule that I want everyone to understand, not just this team, is especially when you're using somebody's hard work, right? Be it a design, I agree you scaled it, but scaling is still, you have to like cite the original open source, because tomorrow you might end up creating some open source software and you release it under a certain license, MIT or Creative Commons or something. I don't want your work to be taken by someone without an acknowledgement that that was integrated into their product or that was their product, right? So that is why I'm pressing on these questions. As computer science scientists, as electrical engineering folks, we have to really focus on answering these questions.
Yes. So this is called MIT Cheetah 3. There are multiple papers written on this. Is it visible?
I am, yeah,
Oh.
I'm only able to see you in the screen right
now. Yeah. Now? Is it visible now? No, it's mine.
Not yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is MIT Cheetah 3. So this is an open source project. Yes, and it's so lovely, but no, we weren't able to get the needed parts for this. So I feel like this is a much more, yeah. So they are using brushed motors, which we do not have access to. So I should have informed that there is a multiple open source project, but I am sorry, but I will tell this from next time. Thank
yeah,
you.
but I know there are multiple, but I want you to acknowledge which project you relied on, right? So that is the fundamental point. So I know when other people presented, they acknowledged what frameworks they used or what libraries they use. So I want you to acknowledge, because when you go build a hardware, the problem I'm coming at is I work in a semiconductor industry, right? I have built hardware products and I've shipped products that go into millions of components, and it is unfair when somebody designs a hardware that they don't get quoted, right? The same applies to software. So I really want you to understand. I believe you are in the second semester. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So I really want you to understand. We have to respect the open source for their contribution. The respect does not come by using it. The respect comes by acknowledging that you used it. So I guess we don't have to deliberate on this much more. The comment that you need to understand is when you use something, I know that I have two 3D printers at home, right? So I know that I take a lot of components and I shrink it down. I print a lot of components, but if I go post it publicly or if I go pitch it in a hackathon, I make sure that I mention who the original creator was. Doesn't matter whether I scaled it, whether I tweaked it a bit. Depending on the licensing, you still had to you are obligated to acknowledge them. So that is the only point I wanted to make. I think beyond that, I think Vijay had to go out because of some situations. So I will just let's conclude with my questions. So now I want you to talk about what really is your product, right? Is it a toy? Is it something else, right? I don't know what it is.
Okay, so what I want this to be is a test bed. So I intend to develop the walking formation, the gates. There are multiple papers but I do not have the technical know-how yet to how to understand or to replicate those. So I need to learn more about that, and I wasn't able to do that within this short time.
Right.
So that is one thing which I want this to be a bed for. I want this to be a 3D mapping solution, as in it should be able to host, not host per se, but have LiDAR or camera modules, maybe connect, and then implement SLAM or not. I believe it's Orb SLAM 2, and
why would this be a better geological feature modeling platform than a rugged buggy with 4 wheels or 6 wheels or 8 wheels?
So the problem with buggies would be when you're going through different elevations. So that is the major drawback of having the wheels. I mean, they are extremely energy efficient. I mean, but this is going to spend so much of its energy just trying to stay, elevated, isn't it? But compared to a buggy, which will have a much more uniform, I'm doing this stuff easily. So I want this to be a platform which can scale through multiple heights, map them, have that ability to do that. I wish to add an arm in the future which would enable cleaning up of the room or something of that sort. I want this to be an aid. It's sort of like how ESP32s are. So it's an aid to do more work. So I wish to use this as that. It can be used for maybe smelling out gases, which you said, using multiple gas modules to do that, or maybe this can involve in using ESP32 cam, which we weren't able to finish. It does have I wasn't able to forward the ports to have an internet. I do not. Yeah, it's right here. So using
Okay.
ASP
Yes. So
cams.
I think we let us wrap it up. I think what I definitely see is great enthusiasm to learn, really good motivation to actually go hands-on. Hardware is very dirty. Unlike software where you can go to Stack Overflow, there is no Stack Overflow for hardware, and there is no, if someone creates a Stack Overflow for hardware, that person is going to be a billionaire, right? So what I feel is you have done really good work. I think I don't know how many people are in this team, but this is great work, obviously. But what I am suggesting is I agree that this is, with your understanding of what this is not a product that you want to sell in the market. This is a research platform, right? So now as you go build things, I really want you to focus as you go to the next hackathon. I think you should start working through some of those fundamentals of machine learning, and eventually go into deep learning, and then eventually touch upon reinforcement learning and those concepts, right? Because there is a fundamental limit to how much you can programmatically using some I guess decision-based programming approaches. You can't fix robotics because it is very complex. There's a lot of physical interaction involved. So think about those lines. But I think I really appreciate the enthusiasm to build things and at least try to get them to work. But always, when my suggestion is never reinvent the wheel, right? There are so many open source projects. If you are already using it, go ahead, go use it. Acknowledge it. Go to the end use case. Your end use case is to help people, which is maybe to detect gas leaks or to save people in a fire situation. Go to that end solution. Piggyback on all the open source that you can, right? We don't have to reinvent TensorFlow for that matter. So that is the advice, not just for Sudhanva. I think it holds to everyone else, right? As you hack through event, don't try to create products that already exist, right? I know that many of you try to create websites, apps, but some of those have a very direct overlap with existing products. So this was like, I wanted to close in on this. Are there any other teams, I guess, moving ahead?
So Shashank, there's one last team.
Yeah,
So
let's go to that. I think we have
Yes, sir.
good
Please.
understanding from based on what Sudhanva said. Yeah, so thanks, Sudhanva.
May I have one question, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
I want to know, how do we procure I was very interested in replicating MIT's Cheetah, but then their motors weren't. I do not know how or where to get them. You
Right.
said that you have worked on something like this. Where do we exactly get those motors from? Because I tried my best. I couldn't do that.
No, some of the ways that I can think of is obviously why would you need that motor, right? There should be a specific need for why you want to use that motor, right?
Yeah.
Energy efficiency is not a question, right? Like if you are in a research scenario, you can simulate everything in a research scenario. You can actually run it on a wired connection, right? You don't have to worry about BLDC being much more efficient than some ordinary brush motor, right? So I really want you to think beyond the means of acquiring custom hardware, right? What can you do with the minimum resources is the question. When I work on projects, I obviously go with similar questions like you to my manager or my director or my VP. And what I understand overwhelmingly with 8 years of work experience, right? I worked in Bosch, SanDisk, and Micron. What I understand is the expectation of engineering is not about finding the right component, right? The expectation of engineering is finding the most available component and extending its function much more beyond what the original creator thought, right? So I want you to think in that way. Don't worry about acquiring what Cheetah has, right? We can always replicate everything. So now the real focus that you should have is you should replicate Cheetah if that is available to you. But let's say you don't have a specific component. That is where your ingenuity will step in, which is you go identify what solution can replace it with some short drawback, and you will find another ingenious idea. Go fix it, right? Let's say your current motors, servo motors, can't bear some weight. You don't have to worry about it, right? Eventually, if you really get good at the reinforcement algorithm or whatever product research you want to do, you can go get investment to support you to scale, or you can go to a great institution. right? At that point, you don't have to seed fund it from your money or your dad's pocket money or someone or the college, right? You can go to a great university. They'll fund everything. So what I suggest is prove your ideas work, right? Don't try to replicate exactly what MIT does. It is not possible, right? I am not in MIT. I am in a smaller school, so I don't try to replicate everything what MIT does. I try to do what is available within my means. I think you should do the same. But the curiosity that you have, I really liked it. I think that is important, right? Continue to think in that direction. I think I've seen this curiosity in pretty much everyone that I interacted with, not just in this final judging event, but also prior to that. So what I really saw is some teams really stand out because their work is exceptional, right? So that is one. But there's the other side, which I will talk at the very end. That's a much more general comment, but I think that answers your question, which is don't worry about custom components. You are not going to get that at any rate, right? I don't try to do that is my answer. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Sudhanva. Can we have the next team, the last team? Do we have Team Magnus here? Team Magnus? Okay, so this will be your final call. Team Magnus, are you here? All right. Looks like we don't have Team Magnus here. Before we actually end this, I would request Mr. Shashank to, give us some insights, give our hackers some insights before we actually end this.
Yeah, I think thank you everyone for participating in this hackathon. And what I really wish for all of you is great success in career, in life, and everything that you try to do, right? Every positive thing that you try to do for the world. The reason I've been very hard on many of you in the last hour and a half, right? The reason that I and Vijay asked you really tough questions is not to put you down, right? You are all very early in your career, so we don't want you to go with the same ego or attitudes that we had, which set us back few months behind where we could have been, or few years where we could have been today, right? So I don't want you to repeat those mistakes. And then the other simple example I can say is I'm located in a very different time zone. It's 3:48 a.m. but I'm super awake because I'm invested in your success, right? So that there's no hard feelings here. So everyone is welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and I'll try my best to get back to you. We can definitely continue to deliberate on some of these excellent ideas. Open source projects, please acknowledge very critical. I noticed obviously we have an excellent organizing team, really good at digital forensics. I should congratulate them first. And what we observed is many teams that were part of the final submission. What we noticed is even what we thought would be the final set of 10 teams originally, exceptionally looking projects, but very disappointed in that we found out that some of them had plagiarized on somebody's solution, right? Like they copied somebody's GitHub repository, uploaded it some 24 hours ago, and they just sat on it, right? And then they decided to go claim that that is their project, right? I think more fundamentally, what I want to point out is uh, very simple, right? Life is about two things: trust and integrity, right? You can always go hire engineers. If you're a smart business minded individual, you can always go hire smart engineers who can go implement the dreams that you have. If you're a great programmer, you can always find a partner or a business partner or a collaborator who is great at business, right? But what we cannot fundamentally outsource, right? What you cannot outsource is integrity, right? And what you cannot outsource is trust. So the moment you outsource integrity, you are compromised, and you end up in situations like this where someone else who never doubted you, decided, okay, I'm going to check on you, and it was a very random chance that they catch you, right? Those things can be really bad. In a hackathon, it doesn't matter. I don't want to take names of specific teams or people here, but you know who you are, right? I know who came with what integrity. You know, you yourselves need to think, close your eyes, touch your hearts, and think where do you want to go in life, right? So you are all very young, very motivated. That is fundamentally very important human aspect. But beyond that, I think the most important aspect that you need to remember in life is you cannot outsource integrity. That if you take any single message from this hackathon, I would like it to be this sentence. I don't know what Vijay would add. Unfortunately, he had to get out of this meeting early for some of his personal business. So what I am trying to tell is, if you take one message out of this, remember, integrity cannot be outsourced. Beyond that, I think you all have great dreams, you have great potential, what you have is you need to just keep an open mind, really be honest where you are taking somebody's information and presenting it. Really be honest when you agree what you know and what you don't know, right? It is very important. All those count as integrity. Integrity is not just being faithful to specific things, right? You had to showcase that in every dimension. So I think that is the message I wanted to leave everyone with. I don't want this to take much longer. If there are any other questions, please feel free to reach out on Twitter or on LinkedIn or email, whatever works for you, right? So with that, I think I would like to close my remarks, and then I'll sync up with the organizer, and we'll then go ahead with the announcements.
Thank you very much, Shashank. Those were indeed great words. Um, I think instead of getting onto a different meeting, we can just take a 10-minute break and catch up for the winners. Will that work? Shashank, is that fine?
Shashank sir, is that fine?
Yeah, totally fine. Yeah.
Just for 2 minutes, we'll just break, and we'll announce the prizes, and valedictory session will be there. Yeah.
Yes, guys. So we will be back at 3:30. So we'll break now for 7 minutes. Thank you.
What an event. It's really great that this hackathon turned out to be a successful one. Once a wise man said, feeling thankfulness and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. I, Shrishti P. Hulekal, on behalf of JITHack 2021, would like to take this opportunity to put my gratitude into words. I would like to thank the management of Jyothy Institute of Technology for rendering us with all possible logistic support and guidance for encouraging at every point of time in the organization of this great event. I'd like to express my profound gratitude to our principal, Dr. Gopalakrishna sir, for his constant support. I'd like to thank our beloved HOD, Dr. Prabhanjan sir, for his guidance and a lot of encouragement. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Shashank Lakshman and Mr. Vijay Kulkarni for being as judges in our hackathon. Your time and dedication made it possible for us to reward the participants for their creative efforts. I'm sure that the participants have benefited in several ways through their mesmerizing review and talk sessions. I would like to thank the mentors for sharing their precious knowledge with the participants and guiding them all with the solutions that can be implemented. I also wish to express my gratitude to all the participants for their active participation in this event and making it very successful. We are also grateful to the sponsoring organizations, our platinum sponsors, Defolio and CSI, our gold sponsors, Polygon, Portis, Tezos, Silo, and Layerfi, and our bronze sponsor, EcoAR. Well, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. I also would like to extend a warm gratitude to our organizers and volunteers who have put on all their efforts in making this event a successful one. Last but not the least, I thank all for your cordial cooperation. Now I would like to request Srinidhi sir to continue.
All right. So can we continue? Can we do Aditya?
Yes, sure, Karthik. So, hello everyone. I'm Aditya and I'm from 8th SEM CSE. So, coming to JITHack, I'm going to take you through a trip of down the memory lane. Now, as you can see, we started out as a intra-collegiate event in the month of December 2020. But now, in the year of 2021, that is in June, we are very much excited to scale up our hackathon to a national level hackathon. And a brief stats. So in the first edition, that is the intra-collegiate one, we had 80 participants and 19 submissions. And in the second edition, that is the national level one, we have 337 participants, 33 submissions, and multiple sponsors. And of course, we couldn't have done this without you all. A huge thanks to our sponsors, Devfolio and CSI, the platinum sponsors, gold sponsors, Polygon, Tezos, Portis, Cello, Layerfi, and our bronze sponsors, EcoAR. And a huge thanks to our judges, Mr. Vijay Kulkarni and Mr. Shashank Bangalore Lakshman, for their continuous guidance and suggestions to improve the participants' projects, as well as guiding them in the right steps. Now, a brief stats about JITHack. In 2020, we had 19 submissions, and in 2021, we have 33 submissions. That is more than 75% increase. And in 2020, we had 80 applications, and in 2021, we have 337 applications. That's a growth of more than 4 times. Now, coming to the total applicant status, we had an acceptance rate of 96%, and there were many reasons for not accepting the other part. And coming to the ratio of the applications and people who submitted their applications for review, we had almost 48.5% people who submitted their applications for review. Coming to the next part, the gender distribution, we are mostly excited to say that we had almost nearly 27% female participants from across the country, and male was 72.45. The others were the remaining part. And coming to the geographies or demographics, from Bangalore, we had almost nearly 35%. From Mumbai, almost nearly 5 to 7%. From Chennai and Delhi, 3%. Now, coming to the part where for which you have all been waiting for. I hope you are ready. So, are you? Participants, I would like to hear from you. Yes. Now, are you sure you are ready?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, nice. Then, all right, here we go. Oh, just wait a minute. I'll be back. Now, yeah, I'm back, and cutting to the chase, let's have the winners. Srinidhi sir, would you like to address the gathering?
Yes, have created attention to the participants. So meanwhile, I'll just share my thoughts. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So thank you, judges, Mr. Shashank and Vijay Kulkarni. So I would like to extend my thanks to all my team, that is JIT Hackathon team. That is the reason that the complete hackathon event has been successful. And I would like to extend my thanks to the management. And our Garden Council member is here, Rajesh sir, and our Villa principal, and my HOD, to the complete department faculty members, along with us. Especially Manoj sir, Vallabh sir, to the faculty. For the successful event. And last but not least, so I would like to name few. Okay, my complete team. First is the lead organizer, Mr. Karthik from 8th semester, and Mr. Aditya from 8th semester, and Mr. Shishira and Prajwal, Saket, from Aishwarya Nagesh from 6th semester, and Srishti and Dhanush from 4th semester. So the complete team worked a lot. So thanks to all my team members. So without them, it would have not happened. And our judges, so hats off for their patience, because we tried 3 of 2, 3 o'clock after 3 a.m. So they were able to they held that completely. Right? I thank Mr. Shashank and Vijay to giving us a lot. I would like to ask the principal sir to please share his thoughts on this hackathon.
Am
Dr.
I good
Gopal
to
Krishna
proceed?
sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Please share your thoughts, sir.
Yeah. There was some volume problem and audio issues. That's why I was unable to hear you. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah, please. Yeah, see, I congratulate and compliment the team who have put in their efforts. The Department of Computer Science with the head and his team, as well as the very capable guys at the top of the affairs in terms of the technology who have been able to successfully do it. I compliment their efforts and I wish they continue to do so. And I also thank the judges, Mr. Vijay, the other gentleman whom I just could not remember. I'm sorry.
Shashank, sir.
Shashank. Yeah, Mr. Shashank, sorry. Mr. Shashank and Mr. Vijay Kulkarni both have done a wonderful job. They have taken time out from the regular schedule and they have been able to help us in making the judgments. And I think it's an incredible achievement in terms of the numbers. We have gone national. I'm happy. I wish, even the ISC department, and I said, you go in a big way so that, we get people from all the corners of the country. You people have gone, I would say, at the national level, quite a good number of entries. And so I think I applaud your efforts. And I congratulate the winners after you announce them. And I wish every one of you a big future and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now I request Mr. Rajesh from the Governing Council to speak a few words.
Many congratulations to all the participants first. Irrespective of who the winner is, I would say each one of you is a winner for actually coming and putting your time and efforts in such a national level competition. Now you know where you stand. That's what I was saying even in the inaugural session, saying that don't take this as a huge competition, but take this as a place where you can fact check, and where now you have competed with various brains from across India. So now you know exactly where you are, and this is the right time for you to ramp up your skills, see where the shortfalls are, ramp up your skills. And yeah, I mean, the destination is quite far away. You're just stepping into the corporate world. I assume every one of you are in the undergrad programs. Having said that, it's really heartening that to see such a wonderful crowd over here, wonderful participants over here. And when it comes to JIT, I was just seeing the difference between the first season and the second season. The numbers are huge, I would say. That too in lockdown, and keeping the various barriers in mind. When the team could achieve such huge numbers and such huge participants, I'm sure the struggle was very much in getting the word passed by. So yeah, I congratulate everyone, and my many thanks to Vijay and Mr. Shashank also for taking their time out and judging the event. And let's see who the winner is, and congratulating them in advance for being the best on the day. Probably it was something your own efforts. It's your own efforts. Yeah, let's see. Let's hope we all meet sometime in person when the lockdown opens, and yeah, and the way forward. Thank you everyone for participating, and many congrats to the departments of CSE and ISC for hosting such a national level event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Prabhanjan to speak a few words about our event.
Okay. Good evening. First of all, I thanks our management and principal, sir, for encouraging and supporting us to organize such a big event. Okay. I thanks all the participants for participating in this event. Actually, those actually winners is second part, but participation is the main. I mean, that is, they are all actually all the participants are actually the winners. I thanks. The main task actually here is jury members, because from morning up to 4 o'clock now they are identify who is the winner. Okay, there's the main task for them. I think compared to the participant, they have done good work. Actually, I can say this. I thanks the mentors also who have mentored all the participants. Okay, I congratulate all the team members, especially the 7 semester student, 8 semester, 6 semester, and 4 semesters who organize such a wonderful event now. I also congratulate the faculty coordinators, Sridhi sir and Vallabh sir and Manoj sir for organizing this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhanjan sir. So now I think it's finally time for Mr. Shashank to actually announce the winners. So from here, Mr. Shashank will take over. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. Yeah, I'm extremely excited to have been part of this wonderful hackathon event hosted by JIT. I think it is incredibly important that I graduated from VTU 11 years ago, and I clearly recognize the value that your institution is adding by hosting these kind of opportunities where students are given an opportunity to go prove their mettle in the real world, right? Playing with real code and real hardware and things like that. So kudos to the team, that organizing team who organized it, and I really thank you for making me part of this event. Thanks to all the HODs and the principal, and also to Srinidhi. He has been a great partner to work with. Also, all the students in the organizing team have been great partners to work with over the last couple of weeks. And also, I guess I also hold some distinction, which is this is actually my second event that I've participated or contributed to JIT's offerings. Earlier last year, I delivered a lecture on deep learning topics. And I hope that we'll continue to engage in more meaningful ways, and I'll be able to add more value to the university or the institution as you grow. So best wishes to the whole team there. And I think I think some of the things that I speak now is probably also reflected in Vijay's thoughts. Vijay had to get out early for a personal commitment, but I think we agreed on a lot of fundamental philosophies of how we
Thanks about
assess
that,
the winners.
Shashank. But sorry to interrupt, Shashank, but I'm here, just around here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you're here. Okay, Vijay is back. So, so I think we wanted to basically now announce. I'm going to start with the third prize winner. Vijay, am I good to announce?
Yes, Shashank.
Yes.
Good to
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. So basically, the third prize winner is Optimize Prime, who built a prototype for a hardware hack for automated crowd. I think fundamentally, my decision criteria here was their ability to start focusing on the problem statement and continue to refine that over the course of the hackathon, and for being receptive to really very strong feedback, right? So I think the most successful teams in the world across small industries and across large industries are teams which are really focused on receiving comments very constructively and acting on those. So I believe that this team has great potential in that direction, and I congratulate Optimize Prime on the third prize. And then the second team, second prize team is Code Stars, and they built the KYC verification app with live video. And I think they have a strong fundamental knowledge of many aspects of the technology, and they were able to answer and walk us through many of those modules that they built. And I think this team has a lot of potential to continue to explore topics in this domain and beyond, and hopefully also see if they can integrate this into actual products eventually. And I really hope that we'll see some of the winners and also participants in this hackathon actually go and create products. It doesn't matter if you go become a billion-dollar company or not. I think the matter that you try this is the most important aspect. Trying is winning. Beyond that, you cannot control the efforts of your karma, right? You just have to do your work. And then the other the first prize winner is going to be Technocrats, who built a product called Arcade, which was a platform that they built to help find architects and to match them with customers' needs. What I really loved about this team is they had a reasonably well-rounded hack. They had a decent demo. But most importantly, what we recognize in this team is their ability to focus on questions that were asked earlier on in the hackathon and really deliberate about what features they would add to address some of those questions that we had asked them earlier. And these things are noticed consistently in the most successful teams, as I said. And I did see this behavior in these winning teams and in some of the other teams that were very close to the third and fourth and fifth and sixth places, right? So it was pretty tight competition. It was pretty hard for both me and Vijay to walk through so many a plethora of different ideas and approaches to solve problems. But I think all the students who participated in this hackathon have great potential to continue and grow, and I hope that you continue to do so. And last but not least, I'll again leave you with the same statement that I made earlier when we were deliberating earlier on after the final judgment round. Is regardless of where you go, regardless of what you do, regardless of whether you go become an entrepreneur or you go work for a company, I think the fundamental lesson that you need to remember all through your life is integrity cannot be delegated to someone else. So please remember that. I think that is the greatest message I can deliver to you all today. So with that, I would like to thank you all for participating, and I definitely like Vijay sir to add a few comments as well.
Thank you, Shashank. Thank you so much. I'd like to start. I'd like to thank the management of JIT. They've been very kind enough. I mean, I've been associated with JIT for quite some time now at various levels, and it's always been a pleasure to work along and partner along with JIT in all their endeavors. And as I earlier said, Gopal Krishna sir has been kind enough. He's always given all his love and support to me in all the capacities, right? So, to all, and then I would really want to thank all the organizers, who had put up a great show. I know what it takes to, I think these are the people who work day and night beyond the scenes. The hackers would have been here for 24 sleepless hours, but the organizers, I don't know how many sleepless hours that they might have spent. Thank you for all putting up a great show and with lots of energies, right? And one of the best things about this hackathon is I got to know Shashank personally, and probably this is something another takeaway for me, right? I think for the past couple of hours we've built a good camaraderie, which I really hope to continue. Thanks, Shashank, for that. And then coming to hackathons, right? Based on what my experience, what I can say is, hackathon is not just a place where you come and showcase your, technological, metal, right, or knowledge. What's the few key things that you must always remember are the spirit of participation, right, and focus on the problem. Most of the teams which have a very good technological solution always, most of the teams, they end up losing because they don't have a focus on the problem statement and the agility, right? The agility to take the feedback and then to bounce back and then start working on the feedback. This is something which defines between winning and losing, right? This is something which is very, very important, not just in a hackathon, but generally in life as well. So now you're students, tomorrow you'll be professionals, right? And it's very important for you to inculcate a habit of always getting the right feedback and understand why that feedback came from, who's that feedback coming from, right? And then take the positives out of it, inculcate those positive habits, and then be a better human being, right? And this is something which is very, very important takeaway for all the participants, right? This is one thing, and what I would really want to emphasize is when you look at a problem, it's very important to understand the problem in its entirety, right? What is the social impact of this problem? What is the social need for this problem? What are the reasons for the existence of this problem? So, and technology is not always the solution, right? So, but having said that, I would want to clarify that you should always look at leveraging technology to solve these problems, right? So, and most importantly, we as technologists have access to all the knowledge that we have. We have the privilege to try new things out. So our endeavor should be towards coming up with technological solutions which give equitable access to each and every citizen, right? Each and every person out there, and we should always strive towards creating a more egalitarian society. That is what I would love to say. And I would really want to congratulate all the winners. And I think Shashank has already explained why these three teams, they stood apart than the rest. And I believe adapting to the feedback and then working on that feedback is something which is very, very important, right? Not just in a hackathon, but in your lives. So I think most importantly, keep your passion alive, no matter what. Don't let the passion die out, and this is something which is very important. Um, uh, uh, Thank you, thanks everyone. And at any point of time, I would really love to be in touch. So you can always connect to me over my email or LinkedIn. I think I've already shared those details. Have a great day and good luck. Thank you.
All right, that was a great hackathon, a great weekend for us all. I'm pretty sure all the participants are waiting to go get a break and get some rest. So this was a really resourceful event for all of us. I am Shishira Natraj from 6M CSC of Jyothy Institute of Technology, speaking behalf of all of my team members and my college. This was a really good event planned by every one of us, and thanks to the college management and the judges and the mentors who guided us throughout the event. I thank them all wholeheartedly for their participation and undivided attention. Our starting our whole intention of starting JIT Hack was to inculcate everyone with us and form um, a strong team of like-minded people to work about a solution, or let's say um, learn something new in technology, because that's why we are here in JIT, in our engineering life basically. So I really hope all of you gained something to take away from this event and had a fun-packed weekend. Um, so that's pretty much it from our end, from the JIT Hack organizing team. That's we have come to an end of the event. I'd again like to thank all the judges, the mentors, the college management, our beloved organizing faculties. That's Srinidhi, Mr. Srinidhi, Mr. Manoj, and Mr. Vallabh, and all of the organizing team who were here and made the event possible. And that's it from our side. Hoping to host more events like this um, in the same spirit. And looking forward to see you all again. Thank you very much for all your time, energy, and patience. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. That's it from JIT Hack 2021. See you all next time.